Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're taking a necessary look, a really somber journey, into a case that's just grabbed everyone's attention.
It really has.
It's this tragic collision.
Yeah?
Teenage vulnerability, social media fame, and then this absolutely horrifying discovery.
Yeah.
Our mission today is really to go beyond just the headlines about 15-year-old Celeste Rivas and the musician connected to her death, D4vd, David Anthony Burke.
And it's complex. I mean, that's the core of it. We're looking at an investigation where the main physical evidence is, well, it's severely degraded.
Right.
So law enforcement is having to lean very heavily on digital breadcrumbs, left by the social media star. We know the basics. Rivas' body, very decomposed, found in the trunk of a Tesla.
A Tesla registered to D4vd, the 20-year-old artist.
Exactly.
And, while the LAPD has been incredibly tight-lipped, as they often are, the details we do have, like the police search, the backstories, how they might have connected, it paints a picture of really rapid, aggressive police work.
Definitely.
So today, we need to unpack Celeste's timeline, really get into the forensic challenges which sound immense, and explore how the artist's own public image is now sort of tangled up in the evidence itself.
Okay, so let's start with Celeste Rivas, just 15. Sources describe her as, sweet, bubbly.
Yeah.
But she did have a history. She'd been reported as a runaway from Lake Elsinore for quite a while, actually. Her last missing report was filed back in spring 2024.
And that history, the running away,
Yeah.
it's tragic, but it seems like it created the window for this awful scenario.
It potentially did, yeah. It's a vulnerable situation.
So the discovery, that's what blew this wide open, right? The abandoned Tesla.
Right. It got towed earlier this month, but it wasn't until September 8th, just recently, that the towed yard workers, they noticed this terrible odor. Yeah, so they investigated the trunk, and that's when they found her remains wrapped in a garbage bag.
Just awful. And this leads directly to that forensic hurdle you mentioned.
It's the immediate #1 challenge. The medical examiner confirmed its severe decomposition. It looks like she was deceased inside that car for a long, long time.
Months, possibly.
Likely months, yes, an extended period. And this doesn't just complicate things, it fundamentally shifts the focus of the investigation.
I think a lot of people assume, if you can't get an immediate cause of death, the case just stalls out. But that's not really true, is it?
No, not at all. It's an oversimplification. The lack of, let's say, traditional autopsy findings right away forces investigators to pivot. They move from how she died immediately to focusing intensely on where and when she died.
Okay.
They're playing catch-up, absolutely, but they're not without tools. They'll be leaning hard on toxicology, looking for drugs, poisons. They'll do anthropological checks, looking for broken bones, signs of trauma, even without soft tissue.
Even with the decomposition.
Exactly. The environment inside that trunk for months.
Yeah.
It's like a barrier to evidence in itself, but not an insurmountable one.
So that car discovery, it leads us right to the next big question. How did Celeste and D4vd even connect?
And the sources point towards social media. It's a classic and just heartbreaking cautionary story. There's this really powerful anecdote from her old middle school science teacher.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he apparently shared this story with his current students, warning them about meeting people online. He said Celeste reported meeting a rapper in LA through social media.
And the timeline lines up with her running away.
It does. According to the teacher, she first ran away around January of that year. Police found her in Hollywood. She went home, but then disappeared again for good, it seems, in May 2024.
And the age gap there is significant. If she met him online before January, she might have only been 13, and he would have been 18.
That's the potential timeline, yes. A very concerning age difference.
Okay, so let's talk about the musician, D4vd, David Anthony Burke. He's only 20 now, but he's a pretty big deal online.
Huge. Known for this sort of emotional indie pop vibe, he has, nearly 4 million TikTok followers? Got his start making Fortnite anthems, interestingly enough.
Right, I remember that.
And this fame profile, it makes the overlaps between his art, his public persona, and this case. Well, they're really disturbing and almost impossible to ignore now.
Yeah. I mean, people might say connecting old song titles to a current crime is just sensationalism.
Sure, you could argue that.
But when his biggest hit from 2 years ago is literally called Romantic Homicide, and he's got another track just called Homicide, it definitely adds a layer, doesn't it? It complicates the public view.
It absolutely does. It creates this intense collision between his art and this grim reality, and we're seeing the industry react to that collision.
How so?
Well, it's not just the lyrics people are pointing to. Sources are reporting that things like the bloody shirts, the clothing he used in his stage shows and music videos, they're suddenly unavailable. And his label pulling all official promotion, that's a clear defensive maneuver. They're trying to distance the brand from a persona that now just feels chillingly prophetic, maybe?
And there was something else too, right? A live stream clip.
Yeah, a short one. It showed Rivas and D4vd interacting with fans online.
What was weird about it?
D4vd was caught on audio telling the chat moderators specifically not to leave the stream up. Don't clip it.
Wow. So trying to control the record, even then.
Exactly. That immediate move to kind of scrub that interaction. It suggests he knew, for whatever reason, that he didn't want that particular moment permanently documented. Whether it was truly incriminating or just personal, the act itself raises questions.
That idea of controlling the narrative, the digital scrubbing, it brings us to the police response. Because despite all this public information, the circumstantial stuff, LAPD is being, as you said, tight-lipped.
Extremely.
Why hold back so much? Why keep it so close to the vest?
You have to see their silence as strategy, probably not ignorance. The biggest tell that they have critical, non-public info is that search warrant.
The one they executed on the Hollywood Hills home.
Yes. The one D4v seemed to be staying in. To get a judge to sign off on searching someone's home, you need probable cause. That means they presented compelling, specific evidence linking that location somehow to Celeste Rivas's death.
Okay, so the warrant itself is huge, and the details of the search, they suggest the police have a pretty specific theory about what happened.
They certainly seem to. The key detail reported was the use of luminol.
Which detects blood, right?
Yes, but crucially, it detects traces of blood, even blood that someone has tried very hard to clean up, potentially months later. And reports say they focused on floors, drains.
Drains, okay.
Which strongly suggests their working theory is that she might have been killed or perhaps dismembered inside that house before her body was wrapped and put in the car.
Which was found just down the street.
Only a block and a half away, yeah. So using luminol implies they suspect they're dealing with a crime scene that someone tried to sanitize.
That's a critical link. But I have to ask, even with luminol, how sure can they be the death occurred in the house versus later, maybe in the car itself, given how decomposed the body was?
And that's the pivot point again. The decomposition makes the cause of death hard to pin down, yes, but the digital evidence, that's what helps confirm the location and time. If they find her DNA inside that house, maybe a hair, something missed in a cleanup, or if they find cleaning supplies matching chemicals used or specific tools, anything linking the state of the body to that location, that ties the house to the homicide, potentially, regardless of what the autopsy ultimately says about the exact mechanism of death.
So the digital and trace evidence fills the gap left by the decomposition.
It aims to, yes.
What about D4's himself? Initial reports said he was cooperating, but now...
Now, police sources are indicating he's no longer talking to officers.
What changed? Is that unusual?
It's actually pretty standard in high-stakes cases like this. The moment police execute a search warrant on your home, especially a high-profile one, you lawyer up immediately.
Makes sense.
And the first advice any lawyer gives is usually, stop talking to the police. D4D's fame, his money, means he gets top-tier legal help instantly. That creates an immediate shield around him and potentially his staff. Makes interviews much harder for investigators.
So if the physical forensics are tough because of the time lag, the real focus, the gold rush as you called it, is the tech. The digital trail.
Absolutely. Everything digital. We live in an age of constant surveillance, especially in wealthy areas like the Hollywood Hills. Investigators are hitting a triad of digital evidence hard.
Okay, what's the first part of that triad?
Communications. Texts, emails, even those supposedly ephemeral apps like Snapchat, they can often recover data with warrants to the service providers.
Right.
Second part, movement data, where was his phone, where was her phone, GPS history. And, crucially, location tracking data from the Tesla itself. Those cars log a lot of information.
And the third part must be all the cameras around there.
Exactly. Ring doorbells, garage cameras, business security systems. Police have been going door to door, basically, canvassing that whole area, collecting footage. They're trying to place Rivas, D4vd, and that Tesla at the house during the critical time window, likely back around May 2024 when she vanished.
And the fact the car ended up just a block and a half away.
It suggests they might have used location data to narrow down where the car was long before the tow yard actually found the body. The digital evidence is what they hope will overcome the biological decay.
Okay, let's shift to the career side of this. The impact on D4vd's professional life seemed immediate and brutal, almost like the court of public opinion convicted him instantly.
Oh, it was swift and devastating. You could call it immediate career cancellation. Every single tour date, Seattle, San Francisco, the big LA Greek theater show, all gone.
Wow.
He was scheduled for a Grammy Museum appearance, scrubbed instantly. His label, Interscope, pulled the plug on his deluxe album release, halted all official promotion, just froze his career.
And the sponsors.
Dropped him like a hot potato. Brands like Hollister, Crocs, major marketing campaigns, terminated overnight. The money just vanished. It's a professional death sentence, essentially.
But then there's this really strange, kind of dark twist. You mentioned the boost paradox. How can this nightmare publicity actually help him in a way?
It's the weird economics of notoriety, I guess. Monetizing morbid curiosity. While the official channels shut down, the label tries to bury him, the sheer volume of news coverage means millions of people who'd never heard of D4vd suddenly know his name.
And they know the context, the accusations, the song titles.
Exactly. And what do? They go stream his music, especially the songs like Homicide, just to hear it, to see what the fuss is about, satisfy that macabre interest.
So the search traffic, the buzz, it drives streams directly, bypassing the need for official promotion.
Precisely. We've seen this before, mostly in hip-hop and rap. There are documented cases where an artist getting involved in serious crime, even murder, actually led to a spike in their streaming numbers while they were locked up or awaiting trial.
That's wild.
The notoriety itself becomes the marketing engine. So for D4D, even if his career as, like, a marketable product endorsed by brands is dead, the raw data might show more people listening to his stuff than ever. It's this bizarre kind of financial immunity from the professional exile.
A really dark reflection of our media age.
Yeah.
So bringing it back to the investigation, what's the final challenge his fame poses for the police?
It's sort of a double-edged sword for them. On one hand, yeah, his fame means they're probably drowning in tips, some useful, many probably useless or totally fabricated, that takes huge resources just to sift through.
Right.
But on the other hand, his money and his instant access to lawyers creates this very controlled, almost hostile environment when they try to gather information from him or his inner circle. They're fighting intense media pressure while trying to meticulously build a case from digital fragments and sort through rumors.
So this whole investigation really is defined by these tensions, isn't it? High-profile pressure, tons of digital data, versus the forensic roadblocks and the police keeping information incredibly close.
Absolutely. You said it perfectly. The pace here is being driven by the tech, the digital evidence, not the biology. It's like this race between the gold rush of technology and the slow decay of time.
So as people follow this story, what's the big takeaway? What should you, listening right now, be thinking about?
Well, I think it comes down to this. You see this heavy reliance on digital footprints, right? And you see the immediate, powerful impact of an artist's public persona, especially a dark one.
Yeah.
So the question becomes, how much do those things, the digital trail, the song titles, the image, influence how we perceive guilt or innocence? How much does it sway public opinion, maybe even investigators, long before the slow, careful work of forensics and the legal system can actually establish the facts? Is the narrative built from song titles ultimately more powerful in the public mind than, say, complex luminol results or cell tower pings? That's the really difficult ethical and legal ground this case forces us all onto.